The nurse was just fiddling with the doll in her hands when she noticed something rattling inside its mouth. A co-worker standing nearby gave the doll a shake, and out fell a single tooth. The man immediately sent the doll into a scanner, and the moment it was scanned, the chief surgeon's scalp went numb with terror. Why was there a human skeleton inside the doll? This is easily the best Japanese horror film in recent years. The story takes place in a residential complex in Japan. One day, Anna invited her classmates over to play hide and seek. Lisa was getting ready to head to the supermarket for snacks. Before leaving, she carefully checked the kitchen knives, the gas, and everything around the house. Only after making sure it was all safe did she go. The kids were hiding all over the house, but Anna couldn't find a good spot. In the end, she chose to climb inside the family's old washing machine. Soon Lisa came back with the groceries, but Anna was nowhere to be seen. She asked the kids there, and every one of them said they hadn't seen Anna. Lisa and the neighbors searched everywhere, but there wasn't a single clue. Panicking, Lisa decided to call the police. Her husband Jack got the news and rushed home too. Lisa accidentally knocked over a cup of tea, and as she went to toss the tablecloth into the washing machine, what she saw in front of her shattered her completely. This accident became a wound in Lisa's mind that would never fade. For the months that followed, she was in a daze all day long, drowning in grief and guilt over losing her daughter. Jack watched his wife sink deeper and deeper, his heart full of worry, but he couldn't find any real way to help her out of the darkness. A few months later, Anna's grandmother came to visit Lisa and handed her a flyer for a temple memorial ceremony. She suggested Lisa bring Anna's belongings to the ritual to help ease the pain in her heart. Lisa had no interest in going at first, but after a night of thinking it over, she decided to give it a try. Just as she picked up the flyer to head out, a strange gust of wind blew it away. Lisa chased after it, following the flyer until she wandered into a local antique market, and there she noticed a doll sealed inside a wooden box. The doll looked strikingly like Anna. The moment Lisa saw it, she paid a fortune and bought it on the spot. Ever since she had the doll, Lisa's condition clearly started to improve. She treated the doll like the real Anna, shopping, walking by the sea, taking family photos. She carried the doll in her arms through all of it. Jack didn't understand it, but thinking the doll might help his wife heal, he went along with it as best he could. And so the couple lived with the doll for years. With the doll by her side, Lisa slowly moved past the pain of losing her daughter. Sometime later, Lisa got pregnant again and gave birth to a second daughter. The little girl's arrival filled the whole home with joy. The couple poured all their energy and love into their younger daughter. Nami, the doll that was once so carefully cared for, had lost its value. It was tossed aside into a corner of the house. But ever since the doll was neglected, strange things started happening one after another. The newborn Nami wouldn't stop crying, and no matter what the family tried, nothing could soothe her. By chance, Lisa set the doll beside Nami, and the baby instantly went quiet. But in the few minutes Lisa stepped out of the room, Nami suddenly burst into tears again. Lisa hurried back to check, and found a strand of hair wrapped around Nami's neck, as if someone was trying to strangle her. After this, Lisa realized something was wrong with the doll, so she found its original box, placed the doll back inside, sealed it up, and hid it in the storage room. For the next 5 years, the house was peaceful again. No more strange things happened. 5 years passed, and Nami had grown up. But that sealed away evil finally got its chance to see daylight again. One day, while Nami was playing marbles at home, a marble rolled into the storage room. When she crawled in to grab it, she happened to find the doll inside the box. Curious, she opened the box and lifted the doll out. But when Lisa saw the doll again, a wave of dread washed over her. She clearly remembered trimming the doll's hair short with her own hands 5 years ago, yet now the doll's hair had grown down to its waist. Not only that, when she inspected it closely that night, she found the doll's nails had grown much longer too. A few days later, one of Nami's classmates came to visit. The girl saw the cute doll and wanted to play with it, but Nami absolutely refused. The classmate got upset and tried to snap the doll's arm right there. But to everyone's shock, the girl ran out of the room crying, with 2 deep bite marks on her arm. Nami flatly denied doing anything. What scared Lisa even more was that Nami's behavior grew stranger and stranger. The kindergarten teacher pulled out Nami's artwork. The drawing showed 2 people hanging themselves, and a child being boiled in a pot. The style was dark and eerie. Late that night, Lisa's bedroom door pushed open. A figure crept into her bed. She thought Nami was scared to sleep alone, so without thinking she reached out and held the figure close. But the next second, a string of eerie events made her realize the doll could not stay any longer. To protect her daughter, she packed the doll up without hesitation and dumped it at the complex's recycling point. She went home, thinking the crisis was over, but in the blink of an eye, she saw the doll sitting in the hallway. When she stopped and turned around, the doll was still sitting perfectly on the chair. A chill ran down Lisa's spine. Then she saw the scattered marbles, and realized she had just been hitting her own daughter. The horrifying image jolted Lisa awake. It had all been a nightmare, but reality was even more hopeless than the dream. The next second, a knock came at the door. Because Lisa hadn't sorted the trash properly, the security guard had brought the discarded doll right back. Lisa understood that simply throwing it away wouldn't get rid of the doll. She rushed after the garbage truck and only relaxed once she watched the workers take the doll away. But before long, there was an accident with the garbage truck. One of the workers got pulled inside, and in Lisa's moment of terror, Nami, who should have been at kindergarten, was standing at the accident scene, holding that doll, her face blank. That night, Lisa began replaying the home security footage over and over. She faintly heard, alongside her daughter's voice, a cold, unfamiliar voice talking with her. But Jack believed it was all trauma from losing their first daughter, that his wife was hallucinating. He didn't take it seriously. At the hospital, the doctor quietly told Jack that Nami's back was covered in scratches, some old, some new. Jack naturally assumed it was Lisa, in her unstable state, who'd done it. Facing her husband's suspicion, Lisa had no way to defend herself. In the end, she agreed to be admitted for treatment. Nami was sent to her grandmother's, and that cursed doll was brought along too. At Grandma's house, the horror continued. After Grandma rocked Nami to sleep, she turned and found Nami sitting in front of the TV. Thinking the child had woken up, she went to grab a drink, and a figure suddenly leapt onto her back. Grandma decided to put Nami back to bed, but when she got to the room, something terrifying happened. Grandma, terrified, locked the doll in the storage room and immediately called Jack. But the moment she hung up, a banging came from the storage room. The doll and her granddaughter were both gone. Grandma was frantic and rushed out to search. Finally, on a nearby bridge, she saw Nami sitting on the railing. As she carefully edged closer, Nami eerily jumped off. Jack arrived at his mother's house around then. He searched everywhere for his daughter, but the house was completely empty. Just as he was at a loss, he saw his daughter walk out of the darkness, dragging the doll, her mouth covered in blood. The police who arrived pulled the bridge footage. It showed Grandma rushing to save a girl in white, and then another girl in white, moving incredibly fast, tackled Grandma and savagely bit her. At this point, Jack finally believed none of it was his wife's hallucination. Early the next morning, Jack drove to the temple and handed the doll to the monk there, asking the high priest to destroy it. With Jack watching, the doll was thrown into the fire and reduced to ashes. He recorded a video and sent it to his wife. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief, but what they never expected was that the greedy monk, seeing how beautifully made the doll was, had other ideas. He swapped it out with an ordinary doll, the real cursed object he hid away for himself, planning to sell it for money. But retribution came fast. At the subway station, hair began pouring endlessly from the monk's mouth. He finally tumbled down the stairs and passed out. Then the temple's head priest discovered the monk had swapped the doll. He brought the undamaged doll to Jack, admitting the temple couldn't suppress the doll's malice. He recommended a master who specialized in cursed dolls. Jack didn't waste any time and quickly contacted Master Matsushita. The moment the master saw the photo of the doll, he knew this was extremely serious. Over the phone, he repeatedly warned Jack, before he arrived at the hospital, absolutely no one was to touch the doll. But in the moment Jack was on the phone, a nurse at the hospital, driven by curiosity, picked up the doll. Jack rushed over to stop her, but the nurse gave the doll a strange shake and said something seemed to be rattling inside. As she shook it, a child's tooth fell right out of the doll's mouth. This discovery sparked a bold idea in Jack. Using his position, he slid the doll into the CT scanner to see what was inside, but the scan results left everyone's skin crawling. Inside the doll's body was a complete child's skeleton. To root out the curse for good, Matsushita brought Jack and Lisa to visit an old man who studied and collected cursed dolls. The old man then revealed the doll's shocking origins. It came from the Showa era, made by a famous dollmaker named Kokichi Yasumoto. Yasumoto's daughter, Reiko, was sickly from birth. Her mother, unable to bear the strain, once tried to die together with her daughter. She survived, but the daughter tragically did not. To cover up his wife's crime, Yasumoto did something monstrous. He used his daughter's bones, hair, and nails to make this living doll, and per his wife's dying wish, he buried the doll together with his wife, who died of grief. The doll had resurfaced now because grave robbers had dug it out of the tomb. After learning the truth, everyone agreed. If they returned the doll to her mother's bones and reunited mother and daughter, maybe the malice could be resolved. So they set off at once for the island where Reiko and her mother were buried long ago. Following the map, the couple finally found the tomb deep in the mountains. They opened the urn, and inside was indeed a single female skeleton. After praying devoutly, they carefully placed the cloth bag holding the doll into the urn. But just then, another accident happened. The photo of their elder daughter Anna, in Lisa's pocket, accidentally fell in. It was her only keepsake of her daughter. In her panic, she ignored Jack's attempt to stop her and jumped straight into the urn to grab the photo. But the instant she got the photo, a still burning ember dropped. and instantly ignited the sealing rune on the cloth bag. The moment the seal broke, the doll's malice exploded. It clamped down hard on Lisa's ankle. Jack fought to pull his wife out, but Lisa's hair was tangled tight. At the brink of death, Lisa smashed Anna's photo frame and used a shard of glass to cut off her own long hair. It seemed she'd finally broken free. They thought it was all over. The couple slumped to the ground, staring at the earth-covered tomb, believing every nightmare and horror had finally been laid to rest. They could finally return to a normal life. But the scene cuts, and Lisa, Jack, and their daughter Nami are living together, happy as can be, as if none of the nightmares ever happened. And yet the film's ending delivered its most lethal blow right here. Grandma hadn't been able to reach the couple for a whole week, so she brought the master to their door. They just missed Lisa's family, who'd stepped out. When they opened the door, they found 3 place settings on the dining table. The milk in the cups long gone sour. By reviewing the footage and records, the master finally uncovered the most terrifying truth. The doll's mother had abused her daughter while she was alive. The doll was full of hatred for her mother. Burying her with the very mother who abused her didn't resolve the malice at all. It made it far, far worse. Meanwhile, on the sunlit street below, Lisa and Jack were happily pushing a stroller on a walk, deaf to everything around them, serene smiles on their faces, and lying quietly in the stroller was that doll. Not far from them, inside a parked car, their real daughter Nami was trapped in an invisible cage, pounding desperately on the window, screaming for help, but her parents could no longer see her. And with that, the film ends. Released in 2025 to enormous acclaim, House of Dolls earns its praise by completely abandoning traditional gore and shock. Instead, through relentless, airtight emotional build-up, it pulls the audience into a psychological horror that strikes straight at the soul. The film's twist ending elevates its core from an ordinary horror movie into a profound metaphor for reality. The couple cleverly assumed that fulfilling the ghost's wish to be buried with her mother would set them free, but they overlooked the truth that the ghost had been abused in life. Step by step, they walked into the invisible cage the doll had tailored just for them. The film tells us that every comfort we use to escape reality will eventually turn and devour us. That's it for today's movie. See you next time.